The next 2 weeks are crucial. The fixtures are due out, I think, 20th of June. And if we don't have a stadium signed up by then, basically, it would go to the 41 member clubs. And I've been told that we would end up getting expelled from the league, which effectively means liquidation.
We have an impasse here, which I don't know quite what the resolution is, but you have Colin McGowan, who owns New Douglas Park. You have Jock Brown at the head of a group, which is Jerry Strain and Sharif, who basically are now contemplating moving Hamilton Accies away to Broadwood Stadium. That gives the fans, and you're obviously a spokesperson for them, a major dilemma to satisfy not only the board, but the SPFL.
Absolutely. It puts us in a really difficult position because, they're our club, or Hamilton Accies, and somebody say we're moving to Cumbernauld, and yet, mysteriously, Clyde, who used to play in Cumbernauld, are playing in Hamilton, so it's very difficult for us. But the SPFL have asked us whether we back the move or not. And instinctively, I would say, no, we all want them to stay in Hamilton, but also, I don't want to be the one that if it's thrown on the fans to put the club down. There's very few, I think, that would do that. So we're very reluctantly, we think we might have to support going to Cumbernauld, but we need to see a bigger picture. We need to see what's coming back. And it's like the least worst option.
What is the bigger picture that you're not seeing at the moment from Jock Brown?
Well, they don't give you details on anything. It's all, they didn't give any detail. They hide behind smoke screens. They don't give details on, they say they owed money by the club. It's a complicated thing. The club say the stadium owe them money, and the stadium say the club owe their money. The stadium will detail on that, but Jock Brown will not give you any detail on that. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't go into that. But it's very tricky for us taking our mind up as to who's telling what. In the meantime, we just see this club that we've supported all our life, that been in Hamilton, and then the new stadium just down from the old stadium. I've been going for 50 years. It breaks my heart to think that they could just hop away and move. But it would break my heart even more were the club to go to the wall.
You've got a passionate group of supporters who want the club to survive and certainly want to stay in Hamilton. You have a group and a board that want to take them away, and you have this situation which can't seem to be resolved financially to satisfy Colin McGowan. Somebody has to shift, or there has to be some form of appeasement or an agreement to get to a resolution. What would you like to see happen?
Well, I would like to see them sitting down talking to each other, but I know that they have. Jock Brown and Colin McGowan have never actually spoken, and Sharif used to tell us that the deal was last season, that was 95% of the way there, and it was just the last 5%. Surely people like that could still sit down together and talk and come to a resolution. But, the parties say that's it, they're not talking to each other, both of them, and nothing's going to happen. Jock says that they're going to Cumbernauld, but he can't specify for how long, and the goal is to build a new stadium in Hamilton. I mean, to me, that's pie in the sky. I mean, why would Hamilton, there's no site in Hamilton, where would you get a site? I mean, I'm hearing stories about a super stadium here, and it's just, it's such a difficult situation for us, and it's not our fault in any way. The fans are all united. We had a great meeting the other night, fans from different sides, over 200 at it, very supportive. The local MP was there. The Scottish Football Supporters Association and Supporters Direct Scotland have all been really helpful. We're in the process of, we've set ourselves up, this is a trust, we're setting ourselves as a community benefit society, and we're fans from other clubs have been super helpful, like, even, dare I say, the Wales Society and people like that, Falkirk. This is what's good about Scottish football, is that people are helping each other up, because this could be, if you support some other team, this could be your club tomorrow. And we could be out of business in 2 weeks, 150 years down the tubes. We've just had our 150th anniversary, and that was, well, you probably wouldn't know about it because they didn't do anything to celebrate it. But as you can see, Peter, I feel really passionate about it.
Are you of the opinion that if you are forced to go down this road, it's the death knell for Hamilton Accies?
Unless there's a clear plan to come back, and unless people are being really open, and it's I think I fear the worst.
You've got one last plea on this because you're passionate. You're a representative of the supporters who clearly share your message. If you were looking down the lens to Colin and Sharif and Jock and Jerry, what would be your message to them right now with time running out?
Well, I would say get around the table, tell the fans what's going on, get the fans involved. The club have offered to fans a seat on the board, which we welcome, but it's got to be unconditional. You know, they wanted right of refusal of certain people and whoever they may choose for whatever reason they may choose, and we can't have that. I'm aware that there are investors floating around in the background, and if the deal was 95% there, surely it can't be that hard to get it over the line.
From the SPFL's point of view, do you feel as if they could get involved in some kind of arbitrary situation here to try and save the day?
Well, we met the SPFL recently, and they were quite open, and they're throwing it back on us. What amazed me is that a lot of stuff in Scottish football is all self-certification. You know, there's the directors and things all certify themselves, so there's, I think they could do a bit more teeth, to be honest, the SPFL, but I would say they were reasonably helpful, but they're basically putting it back to us. But as I say, the fans, we're not going to be the ones, it's our decision to put the club down. That's an impossible. No fans in the world would do that.
150 years could be gone in the next couple of weeks. It must be a really tense, emotional time and sad time for you to see what's happening.
It is. It's only a few weeks since we were all clarting the players off. We beat Partick Thistle at Firhill, and it was the reception the players got was unbelievable. And you come to that, and then next 2 weeks we get deducted 15 points and everybody's on a downer, and then this happens. The same day we got deducted 15 points, we got a notice that we were going to Cumbernauld, and you just think, how can things get worse? Well, the only thing worse is, and to be honest, administration is some ways could be the better option. Well, it's the best that we've got, but it's an impossible situation, but these owners have taken us there.
Last 2 points on this then. If you're forced to go to Broadwood, do you think the fans will make that journey? And you think they will back this, knowing that their backs are essentially against the wall?
That's a tricky one. I know plenty of fans that have said that they're not plain blank going to Broadwood. I'm in two minds even myself. I'll definitely go to away games. I think I probably would end up at Broadwood, reluctantly. But I need to know that it's a means to an end, to get there. I'll never stop supporting the club, even if they're in Leicester Scotland League 4. I'll support the club. But, they've got to be fair to us.
What happens if this club goes?
I don't know what we're going to do. That's half my life away, and all these other guys that come on, ladies and gentlemen, that come along to all these games, as part of people have got, even to move from Hamilton, people have got their ashes scattered on the pitch. There's people that have got bricks that they paid when they built the stadium. And some people say they can't relate to the new stadium. Well, it's been there 25 years, I've got some great memories. Obviously, an Accies fan most of the time, it's disappointing, but it's there. If you're a real Accies fan, it's in the heart.